أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. يا عليم علمني ما لم أكن أعلم يا عليم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل إنما حرم ربي الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن والإثم والبغي بغير الحق وأن تشركوا بالله ما لم ينزل به سلطانا وأن تقولوا على الله ما لا تعلمون. صدق الله العظيم. We are looking at the 5 major prohibitory principles upon which our Sharia is based, our deen is based. We looked at al-fawahish and al-ithm in the last episode and explained their meanings in brief. Today we are going to look at the third thing that is mentioned in the ayah. And the third thing mentioned was وَالْبَغْيَ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ. Al-Baghy, it means transgressions, all kind of excesses, all sorts of trespasses, going beyond the limits laid down by Allah Azza wa Jal. According to many Mufassirun, al-ithm, as I alluded in the last episode, related to those sins which are done by a person upon oneself, not involving others. Whereas al-Baghi refers to those sins which are done upon others, i.e. sins committed by doing something to others. For example, dhulm, oppression. This includes sins against Allah, sins against humanity, sins against the creation of Allah, be they human, animals, or environment. So here, besides the right of Allah, huququllah, the rights of others are also included. So the right of others are affected basically by doing zulm. Transgression against Allah is quite clear and well understood. Al-Quran and Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam are full of limits to which believers are required to abide by the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also many warnings are presented too. With regards to huququllah, I'll present only one ayah. There are many ayahs in the Quran al-Kareem, but one ayah is sufficient to understand. And the ayah, قُلْ أَمَرْ رَبِّي بِالْقِسْطِ وَأَقِيمُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مَسْجِدٍ. Allah is telling Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to say قُلْ أَمَرْ رَبِّي بِالْقِسْطِ. My Lord has commanded with al-qist. Al-qist is a wide concept. Just briefly, it means justice, righteousness, and moderation. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says further that you should face Him only. Face Him in this context is facing the Qibla in every place of worship. So when you stand for Salah, then we should be facing Kaaba, which is our Qibla. And then Allah says, invoke Him, وَدْعُوهُ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. That invoke Him alone with devotion and sincerity. This is ayah in Surah Al-A'raf, ayat number 28. So in the ayah, the word al-bagh is a qualified one, or you can say it is conditional. Allah said, Al-Baghi bighayri al-haq, oppression without any cause, without any reason. That means a wrongful oppression. So the condition is that al-Baghi is unwarranted. If you look at the definition of zulm, one of its meaning is also to suppress. For example, if a community as a whole is involved in a sinful act, not only that, it is bent on doing something wrong, then the state or the government or the authority has the duty of suppressing the evil by coming hard on the people. So this oppression is a rightful one and the righteous one. Even if it is done by a single person, if a single person stops somebody doing evil, then this will not be regarded as oppression. Because on the day of judgment, the state or the person will not be held responsible. Rather, they will be given rewards for removing the evil, because the evil needs to be cut from its root in the community, in every aspect of life. As regard to zulm or oppression afflicted to the people, one need to ask oneself before doing any action or before taking any action, what if this thing which I am about to do, if this thing is done to me by others, how would I feel? How would I react? And the answer will come automatically. So the thing is, before we do any action, we need to think about it as to what are we doing. Are we doing right or are we doing wrong? We can make a long list of acts of oppression here. They may be small, but they are still oppression. For example, fraud, deception, stealing, brigandry, khayana, distrust, cheating, hila, trickery, craftiness, subterfuge, threats, extortions, assumption, selling illegal goods, the back of the lorry stuff, drugs, alcohol, buying and selling, dealing in interest-based investments, and also not paying debt despite having the ability to pay. What I mean here is that there are many people who run their business, and they are crafty people. So what they do is, as the business is flourishing, they siphon off the money slowly but surely till a time comes when they declare bankruptcy, insolvency, deliberately to avoid paying debt, because they have borrowed money from the bank or from other people, and they bought a lot of goods from merchants, from other traders, and they owe them money. So what they do is they deliberately declare themselves bankrupt so that they wash their hands off of the debt. No money will be then paid in debt. And then what they do? They open the business on somebody else's name, and they think they are doing something very good, and they become very rich. Beware, in the code of Allah, the plaintiff will demand their dues, and believe you me, it will be a very expensive affair. May Allah prevent us from this. A person of sound intellect, fitrah salima, can easily distinguish right from wrong and refrain from it. I mentioned the hadith in the previous episode about how to distinguish whether something that we are doing is sinful or lawful. So we need to refer to that hadith. But the important thing is, what we need to do is to adopt taqwa. Rather, libasut taqwa, the robe of piety. Allah says in Surah Al-Araf, ayah number 26, يا بني آدم قد أنزلنا عليكم لباسا يواري سوآتكم وريشا ولباس التقوى ذلك خير ذلك من آيات الله لعلهم يذكرون. And Allah goes further and says, يا بني آدم لا يفتننكم الشيطان كما أخرج أبويكم من الجنة ينزع عنهما لباسهما ليريهما سوآتهما إنه يراكم هو وقبيله من حيث لا ترونهم إنا جعلنا الشياطين أولياء للذين لا يؤمنون. Allah is addressing mankind in general. Says, O children of Adam, we have sent down upon you clothings to cover yourselves, i.e., your private parts, as an adornment. So this one is to cover your private parts, and secondly, it is also a way of beautifying oneself, adornment. Then Allah says, however, the best clothing is the clothing of righteousness, taqwa, libasul taqwa, dhalika khair. And then Allah goes and says, such are among the ayat, the signs, the proof, the evidences, the lessons of Allah that they may remember. Allah says further, O children of Adam, let not shaitan deceive you in the manner he seduced your parents mean Adam alayhi salam and Hawa alayhi salam, out of paradise, stripping them of their clothing to expose them their private parts. Verily he and his tribe, says, Huwa wa qabiluhu, he and his tribe see you from where you cannot see them. You don't even know, you don't even recognize that they are putting wasawis in your ear, and you'll do it. We made the shaitan awliya, or protectors and helpers for those who do not believe. So here the operant is libasul taqwa. So we need to adopt piety in all our actions and suppress the bad side of our soul. Inshallah, we'll talk about different types of soul in other episode. By adopting moderation in our deeds and in our actions, we will reform ourselves, and our family, and our society, inshallah. Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-huda wal-tuqa wal-afafa wal-ghina. Allahumma aslih lana dinana alladhi huwa usmatu amrina waslih lana dunyana allati fiha ma'ashuna waslih lana akhiratina allati fiha ma'aduna waj'al al-hayata ziyadatan lana fi kulli khair waj'al al-mawta rahat min kulli shar. Allahumma aati nufusana taqwaha وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها مولاها اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. Inshallah, we'll continue with this in the next episode. Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين.